Hello, welcome to the Insights channel, and today I would like to introduce to you a very special friend, a senior teacher of Brahma Kumaris. Her name is Manda Patel. She was born in 1960, originally from East Africa, of Indian parents. Sister Manda began her spiritual studies in London in 1981 when she became a member of Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University. Having been hand-picked and personally trained from a young age by the Brahma Kumaris elder Dadi Janki, Manda has a rare talent for spiritual pragmatism, the translation of simple but ancient truths into everyday life. Manda is truly a cross-cultural person. Her experience of both Eastern and Western cultures and years of spiritual study aid in her building bridges between people of all backgrounds and cultures. From 1987 to 1993, she coordinated the administration for the building of the new International Center of Brahma Kumaris Global Cooperation House in North London, and from 1993 to 2021, Manda was the director of the Brahma Kumaris Global Retreat Center in Oxford, one of the international values-based personal development residential retreat centers run by Brahma Kumaris. The center is one of the UK most popular retreat venues, hosting numerous national and international seminars and training sessions. Each year, more than 10,000 people from all professions and walks of life come through these doors. As a coordinator of the center, she was responsible for the day-to-day management of the center, for event planning. The Brahma Kumaris nowadays has over 8,000 branches in 120 countries and is the recipient of 7 Peace Messengers Awards from the United Nations. In recent years, Manda has also taken on the role of overseeing the activities of the Brahma Kumaris in the north and the south of England, United Kingdom. So welcome, Manda. Thank you for having accepted our invitation to speak with us about a very interesting topic. We have chosen the topic of concentration to speak with you.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you here today and to share some thoughts and experiences, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of experience. You know, usually when we speak with people about meditation and especially about concentration, many people have this idea that meditate or to be concentrated is something hard. Can you tell us in few words, how would you define concentration?
Yes, I think it becomes hard when we think about it as something that's very difficult to do. But my own sense is, although I do believe that it takes practice and time to be able to build up our ability to stay focused. But for me, concentrated means to be able to have one thought at one time and allow yourself to experience the power and the energy of that thought over a period of time. And it requires focus. It requires the ability to be in one thought and in one experience and allow that one experience to penetrate the soul, if you like, so that that concentration becomes easy. It's you experience the beauty of a thought that you have. And of course, you can only concentrate on something that you enjoy doing, something that's meaningful, something that's beautiful. When you feel compelled to do something and you have to do it, you don't feel like concentrating. So the mindset and the idea is to be able to give meaning and purpose and value to whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you think, so that you can focus your attention on that.
Mhm. So it's interesting because at the same time that it requires some kind of dedication or some practice, you have to allocate some time for it. It can be pleasurable, it can be natural, it can be full of enjoyment, and that's going to be probably the way to keep doing this practice. And I
Yeah.
believe that from my experience, at least, that's what we see in these senior yogis of Brahma Kumaris. And I'd like to bring Dadi Janki in the picture now because you have had so many experiences with her. It's a privilege to spend so much time in her company. And it seems to me that for her, effort was something natural. Like concentration was something natural. Can you share a little bit more with us in terms of this natural spiritual practice that you could see in Dadi, for example?
Mm. You know, she loved everything she did, or she made sure that she loved what she did. And she loved being with people. She loved helping people. She loved God. She loved herself. She loved wanting to understand herself, loved wanting to go deeper in herself, loved the connection with God. She loved everything she did. And so my sense is that her ability to focus or give focus attention to something came from all of those different aspects. She was fascinated with the notion of the self as a spiritual being. And so for her to think about that, to explore the energy of those thoughts and those feelings, to go into the depth of those experiences by being in that awareness. This she enjoyed, and she made that as a commitment of her life. So I remember meeting, I would be translating for her, and she'd be meeting people. But you could sense her ability to go inside herself for a moment or two before she came outside to talk to people. When she finished talking to one person and she was going to talk to the next person, she'd go inside herself and gather that strength, or be focused inside herself spiritually and become more conscious of that. And then she would come out again. And so all of these aspects, she loved God so much that she would talk about God as if God was her friend, her companion by her side. And so, when you make whatever it is that you love a focus in that way and create a resonance between yourself and that, you're not doing things out of compulsion. You're not thinking about things out of compulsion. Then it's easier to focus. She had profound love for God, and she would explore the different elements of relationships with God. So in doing so, she would create that resonance with God so that she could. So her life was, of course, she sat down and meditated a specific time, but my sense was that her life was a way of meditation. We have the idea that meditation is you sit in one place and you kind of, still your mind and still your body, and you feel compelled to do that. There is an element of that. You do have to do that. But that's not all it's about. If the rest of your life is in place and you enjoy doing what you do, then it's possible to recognize its value and then sit down and be focused in your mind, in relationship with God, to calm your mind, to be peaceful and enjoy being in that state. Then you're not going to be distracted by anything. So the two things are connected. So if you think of concentration as an intellectual exercise, then you're going to fail. because it's not an intellectual exercise. Or concentration is the ability to bring your head and your heart together and allow both to be focused in one direction, to allow your left brain and your right brain to be aligned with one another in such a way that they're moving together, instead of your mind saying one thing and your heart wanting to, your head wanting to do something else. Then you kind of feel distracted and all of that. So it's this kind of alignment that's necessary. And we saw this in Dadi. She was very clear as to what she wanted to do in her life. She was very clear what was important to her, and she lived by those principles. She
Mm.
lived by those values. And so when she sat down to meditate, then her heart was completely with her, in alignment.
Yeah, we can just feel so inspired just thinking about her, and I mean, together with what you are describing. And I think that all of us, with time practicing meditation, we have had the opportunity of coming in touch with this immense ocean of spiritual attainments which resides inside ourselves.
Mhm.
But I think that the big challenge probably is how to sustain this experience, how to sustain it in your life, because there are so many habits that we have developed. And that's when I think that the ingredient of determination maybe would be important. So do you think is that a direct connection between success in concentration and determination? How both of these speak together?
Mhm. Well, anything you want to do in life, you have to have determination. And what that for me means, that again, I never let go of the sight of my goal of wanting to be an expert at something, or wanting to be good at something. They say that, sports people or dancers or whoever, you need to practice something 10,000 hours before you become proficient at it. In order to become proficient at anything, you need to practice 10,000 hours. And so practice is an important thing. Creating a routine and a timetable that's conducive to you putting that in place is important, because when you do that, then you don't allow yourself to be distracted, because otherwise it's very easy for us to be distracted these days by devices, by happenings of the world, by relationships, by all sorts of things that are such a big distraction for people these days. And so you have to curtail, you have to limit those distractions as well. And in order to limit those distractions, you'd have to have determination. In order to place a timetable and a routine in place, you have to have determination. So you have to have determination for everything, absolutely. But I feel it's important to be regular about your practice. Morning, afternoon, evening, as when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed at night, and throughout the day, to check in with yourself as often as you possibly can, to see that your compass, in your inner compass, is in the right direction. So that you're building your experiences, you're building your focus, you're building your concentration. If you do something once in a blue moon and then you say, I can't do it, well, of course you can't do it, because these are things not that you can do just once every now and there, or when things go wrong. If you want to remain healthy, you have to make sure that your life is healthy, your lifestyle is healthy. You eat well, you sleep well, and you exercise well, you do all of those things, then you remain healthy. When you become sick and then you try and put those things in place, it doesn't work. You first have to recover from your sickness, and then you put those things in place so that it doesn't happen again. So it's the same thing. If you want to develop concentration, it's an everyday thing. And you have to be determined about separating yourself from the things that you might call distractions. You distance yourself from the things that you might call distractions so that you can focus, you can pay attention, and you can accumulate that power and strength.
We are speaking about these distractions like devices and social media and so on, but at the same time, there are so many things happening in the world which make people become anxious, like they cannot really see a clear future. There are so much fear and insecurity. And this can also be a source of distraction, to be kind of worried with different things and having too many thoughts about what's going to happen. And we also saw in Dadi Janki this power to pass through tough things and difficult situations, to have even events of pain in her body and still be a conqueror of suffering. It's like you can pass through difficult situations and face them and deal with them and still don't take sorrow. How can we use concentration as a tool to be able to do it? In what should we concentrate so that we can really pass through situations without being so much affected by them? Because I believe they are going to intensify, from now onwards.
All of these things are going to intensify, no question. And so therefore, first of all, concentration becomes a method. And even before that, what's really required is for me to take responsibility of my own inner state of being. That whatever happens outside of me, in my immediate environment or in the environment of the world, my response to it is my responsibility. The onus is on me. I cannot say that happened, that's why I became there. And we do. I'm not saying I don't necessarily don't become affected by, but when I do, when the situation does come, I do have to remind myself of that aspect, that actually, what should my reaction be in this situation? And, as the situations of the world get worse, not only I'm affected, but I know that lots of other people are affected. And it's at a time like that, other people are going to need support as well. And so if I'm affected and others are affected, I can't do anything to help them. So what I'm saying is that you first have to get your bearings right as to what you want your mindset and your mindset and your outlook in life to be. You can either be a victim of everything that's happening around you, or you can be in a place of power when things are happening around you. Now, in order to be in a place of power, you need concentration. But here, the concentration that I would translate here is to be able to have the clarity of understanding as to what's happening in the world, what's in my control, what's not in my control, and what the world needs now. And then concentration can become the method. And when you see all that, how much attention is required, how much focus is required, then you'd be determined to give the focus, give the attention, give the concentration that is required for it. And so then concentration is a tool. It's a tool to be able to be able to stay focused inside yourself, to have clarity, to have wisdom. And so the important thing is to understand, what is it that I'm concentrating on? I'm concentrating my own truth. I'm concentrating on myself as the spiritual being. I'm concentrating on myself as the one that holds a position of power. I'm concentrating on a relationship with God, the one who is the ocean of peace and an ocean of unconditional love, from whom I can get that for my own self. So my fulfillment is coming from a spiritual source rather than the things outside of me. So then I can see the power and the necessity of concentration, so that I give time to it, so that I'm able to give focus to it and attention to it. It's the realization of the necessity of it that helps, I feel.
Yeah, this idea of spiritual service or being available at the time of need, it's one of the pillars of spiritual development, from what I understand. And you have mentioned about understanding what the world needs. So what do you think the world needs at this point, that we could be available so that we can be useful? I mean, we could really do this that we call spiritual service of the world.
The world needs peace. The world needs unconditional love. The world needs light, the light of love. The world needs freedom from aggression, freedom from greed, freedom from egos fighting with each other. This is what the world needs now. And so I can't make other people do that, but I can be that myself. And when I'm able to, when I can work on being that myself, then I can provide that energy and vibration that the world needs now. This is the important thing, I feel. It's simply that. It sounds too simple, but that's the reality. That's the reality that we have to own up to, because then we have to realize that who is it that's going to do it? Not wait for other people to do it. Our politicians are not going to do it. They're all fighting for their position. Because they all know best than everybody else. Our religious leaders, wars are being fought in the name of religion. So who's going to do it? It's people like you and me. It's the individuals. And the power of spirituality is so great that when there are enough people doing it, then the tables will turn. Then the atmosphere will be the atmosphere that changes things for us.
It seems to me to have a kind of a benevolent eye in all which is going on. And sometimes one can think, how can we apply this benevolent eye and really understand that whatever is happening, there is a purpose and a benefit, without being naive, let's say, and just kind of avoiding understanding.
Yeah. I think it's hard for people to see the benefit in it, but you can trust that something good will come out of it. That's the only thing you can do. And on that premise, on that belief, you can be someone who can contribute towards that, and therefore be trusting, have conviction, have faith, be peaceful, be loving, don't use aggression to get your way. These are the things, when you start to work in that way with your own self and in your own immediate environment, you can start to see the effect of that growing, and that vibration and that energy expands into the world.
Like this conviction or this kind of trust, do you think it comes from faith? And how can I trust my faith? How can I trust that it's real and it's not something that I have made up?
Faith is something that comes through exploring the journey of the existence and the truth of the reality of what you can't see with your own physical eyes. If I only believe in what I see and what I hear and what I touch, then actually I don't have faith. But faith is the ability to understand and acknowledge thoughts and feelings and outcomes that come from thoughts and feelings, and having the sense of being able to perceive what's not in front of me right now. And I think we all have those experiences, but we dismiss them. We have those experiences, but we don't give value to those experiences. And so faith comes from having the belief, if you like, that there's something more than just meets the eye. something more to me than just this physical person that you see me as. I have feelings, I have understanding, I have wisdom, I have truth, and this comes not from this matter, it comes from something else, and it comes from being a spiritual being a spiritual energy that you can't see with your physical eyes, but you know that it exists. When that sense is there, and you can spend time exploring that, then I think faith comes, because then you can see that everything that's happening around us, there is a meaning, there is a purpose. I don't see it now, but I will see it. And what is to come, it is possible for us to know what is to come, not necessarily scene by scene and detail by detail, but it's possible for us to have a sense of what is to come when I stay silent and quiet and peaceful, and I don't get into opinions and ideas and all of that, and become influenced by what's outside of me. If I can truly stay within my own self, I can have a sense of what is to come and be absolutely convinced about it. That's what I call faith. So, the faith in myself as more than just a mortal being, faith in the supreme being, in God, the divine, that there is a bigger scheme of things. There is a divine, pure, beautiful energy that exists, that we're all connected to, and that when we reconnect ourselves to that, then I'm able to experience the reality of it. So we have to work, you know beyond our senses in order to develop faith and have a sense of faith.
It's like different levels of self-acknowledgement, even, no? It's like to listen to the divine being that resides inside of you, is to be able to see future, which is coming, to grasp, to catch, something like that, that allows you to not be stuck in the in the material present moment, but to kind of surf in
Yes.
all these other possibilities that spirituality brings.
Yes, absolutely. And when you begin to do that, life also is not so finite. Life is also not just a limited thing. It's not all about me, and it's not all about how amazing I am, but it's about whatever, even if I am amazing, what is the difference that I can make to the world? How I can bring that into the world, how I can support that, how I can support other people with that. So, your life takes on a different meaning when you start to work beyond. It's like you can sit and you can kind of have a sense of what is around you and what is tomorrow and what is the day after. And if it's not very nice sense or very good sense of what might be, you can prepare for that even. So I feel faith, it's not just faith as in believing in something you have no knowledge about, or it's not about just believing something that you're told. But actually, even if you are told, if you do the work inside yourself of this sixth sense through the awareness of yourself as a spiritual being, then actually faith is a natural consequence of that.
It's like to listen to your intuition, no? And for that, as you said, you need some level of introspection and you need silence. So how do you feel that meditation helps you to be able to listen to yourself, to what is inside or to what is beyond?
Mhm. So, I think it helps you by becoming quiet. You become quiet. You don't just like a butterfly flutter from one thing to another. Otherwise, that's what we end up doing, right? There's so much to do and so many places to see and so many things, places to go. So you become like a butterfly that flitters here and there. And there isn't depth. to that. So when you start to meditate, you slow down your thoughts, you kind of have the sense of your breath, and you feel your breath traveling down to your breath, down to your belly and coming up. And it's like you experience the rhythm of nature, rhythm of life. And that just sensing that rhythm of life in itself is, you stop thinking, you stop being caught up in what's around you. And this rhythm allows you to get in touch with that deeper aspect of yourself. This rhythm within your own self also allows you to get in touch with the rhythm that's outside of you. And when this rhythm is outside of you and you're in connection with it, you don't have too many thoughts. You kind of become restful. And when you, as you continue to do this for a while, in a sense, almost as a sense of comfort inside of you, a feeling of being soothed by this kind of vibration and this kind of energy. And yeah, you touch deeper aspects of yourself. And so then, when you're not feeling like that, then you kind of, okay, this is not me. This is something else going on here. I need to transform this or change this or do something about this. So that's why meditation is a very important aspect. You can get a break from the things that you have to do, and get busy in that. So when you are meditating, you can actually shut the door on that and be quiet and and be in touch with yourself, and ultimately learn to have a connection with the divine and experience the qualities of the divine.
Mhm. And when we think about development, or to go back to what is possible for you in terms of your capacity, let's say, uh, there are many levels, no, to do it. One level is the level of thoughts, then it's about what you say, and then it's about what you do, and there is this line of coherency, and then it's also about your relationships and connections. So how can we bridge all of this so that really we can have an experience which is complete, and we can evolve in all of these areas of our life?
Well, all of these aspects, one at a time, one thing at a time. It's good to be able to, first of all, start with yourself, just learning to quieten your mind, learning to recognize the difference between good thoughts and not so good thoughts, learning to recognize the difference between positive thoughts, learning to recognize thoughts about myself that are helpful to me, recognize thoughts about other people that are actually a distraction for me, and a criticism and negativity and all of these things that come. It's recognizing all of these things. And what helps me recognize is this deeper sense of myself as a spiritual being. So then when you do that, then you begin to kind of, be more mindful about, okay, what are the words that I'm speaking? What is it that I'm seeing? And what am I taking in from what I'm seeing? And what am I hearing? What is it that I'm interested in? What is it that I hear that's a distraction? What I'm hearing that's helpful to me? So when you start to become more self-aware, then you can get into touch with all of these different aspects that you're mentioning about yourself, and one by one begin to kind of harness them. One by one begin to recognize what's working for you, what's not working for you. But the practice, or regular practice, a discipline, is essential. Is
Mhm.
absolutely essential.
Yeah, because I think that for many of us who have been meditating for many years, one of the challenges is exactly to transform all that we know and all the knowledge that we have in a real experience, and then to transform this experience in a life, in what we live. So, I mean, that's the thing, you know, how to bridge all of this. So it's about being
But
aware.
after having tried to transform and this and that and the other, I've come to recognize that actually what you have to learn to do is rise above it.
Mm.
And above, go beyond it. It's not about transforming this and that and the other. Recognize the beauty of yourself, the truth of yourself, and the incredible nature of the human spirit, and go into that. Recognize that profound effect our relationship with God has on us and focus on that. And then these other aspects that I feel that need to be transformed will transform automatically, in the sense that I will not make use of those things anymore. I won't need the false support of those. Negative, they're negative, and that's why I want to transform them. I won't need those false support because I have now greater sense of myself and a feeling of safety, a feeling of belonging, and I don't need to have the fear of protecting myself. So I think focusing on that is a very important thing. Focusing on that aspect of really rising to my ultimate truth, rising to what I really am as a spiritual being, and live that one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 hour at a time, one afternoon, one morning at a time, and then allow it to grow. And it's a journey. It doesn't happen just because I want it. I can tell you that after 43 years, all what I'm sharing now is what I know to be true. I cannot say, I can honestly put hand on my heart, and I cannot say I'm all of that at this moment in time, but I see myself making that journey
Mm.
to bridge
Sorry.
the gap, you say.
Mhm. And like in Raja Yoga, there is this element of God, which is very, very unique. For many people, God is a being which is so beyond that they really cannot make use of this energy. So I usually like to make one last question before we end with some experience. How do you use God in your life? How do we make use of this amazing energy which is
Mm.
available at this time?
I think that it's important to make use of that energy by, first of all, recognizing that I'm actually the same as that energy. Me as a spiritual being, I'm exactly the same. And initial for me, the work is for me to take myself there for my own self and with my own self. God is known as the one who is unconditionally loving, unbiased, unprejudiced, constantly available, constantly present, peaceful, and I'm all of that. Just comprehend that for a moment as an offspring of that one. I'm born out of the same energy as that. I'm exactly the same. I am no different. So I first take ownership of that, and I have to. It's like to be in the company of God from that place, and not place of, oh, I don't have anything, give me, give me, give me. That connection will never happen if I think of myself as so less, and that one as the one who has everything and give me, and I will always be like this. Then it doesn't. That I cannot sense that energy. I have to recognize the power of who I am, the beauty of me being exactly the same, and all that to that, we said about rising above. Can I take myself to that place of being above? And then when I'm there, then I can invoke the presence of God. I can be in that energy of unconditional love for me as that pure loving being as well. Then I can fill myself with that peace, that love, that unconditional love. Then I'm able to tap into that whenever there is a need, whenever I feel I want that, I need that.
Your answers are so beautiful that it's almost as a kind of a full meditation experience. But I think that meditation is also kind of little drills, spiritual drills that one can do from time to time to kind of put the awareness in the right position. So I'd like to invite you to conduct for us a drill of concentration that we could use for our daily practices.
Yeah, has to be daily practices, not from time to time, as you were saying just then. It has to be a daily thing, and not even a Sunday you're free, because I think of it as, you know, food for the soul. That if you want to experience something, if you want, if you want to physically survive, you eat, and you eat. You know, we eat a lot more than we need to eat, right? So it's the same with the mind. So, you know, allowing yourself, I think being natural is so important. So important to make it a natural process. We had a group of 50 people who'd been meditating for many, many years. And, you know, I had to meet them the first night. And I thought, what can I say to these people that have never heard before? I realized I can't. But what I can do is actually bring myself to share what I know to be true for me. And so it wasn't about giving to other people and other people receiving. It's just, let's be in it together, but also with your own self. Okay, it's, I actually don't even say meditation these days, because the moment you say that to people, they don't, I can't do it, it's too difficult, I've tried it before. But I'd say, okay, we're not going to meditate. We're just going to sit and reflect and recognize, or notice, not even notice the energy of our thoughts. So just sitting still, comfortable and relaxed, but alert is important, because we're so tired. Everyone is tired, mentally, physically, everyone is tired. And it's this tiredness that makes us fall asleep as we relax. So meditation doesn't mean to doze off. First of all, notice your breath. Notice the rhythm of your breath. It is so natural. Let's just take the breath as the example. When you tap into your breath, think for a moment how powerful just that natural practice is. It's your life force. You are living and alive in this body because of your breath. Just notice breathing in and breathing out. And as you do that, it's almost as if you're not conscious of your physical being, but you become conscious of the life force that you are. The living energy that you are. It's like a burning candle. The flame of the candle is completely still, and the wax melts away. And as you become aware of your own conscious way, your awareness, just be present with that awareness. I am this living, thinking, conscient energy. And I just notice how pleasurable it is to recognize this pulsating nature of life. And as I align myself with this, I notice that all of this is also generated a vibration and energy about me. And I enjoy being and appreciate being this benevolent, peaceful, gentle, soft energy. And the more I stay present with this, the stronger I become. And from here, I can invoke the presence of the divine, surrounding me with unconditional love. The door, the arms of the divine are open to hold me with divinity, with purity. And I, this living energy, this living being, become part of that, held, nurtured, and sustained by that. I can make that journey whenever I want and stay there for as long as I like. And through this, I also begin to recognize my own truth, my own beauty, and my own purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Manda. It was such a nourishment for the spirit to be in this experience. And thank you for being with us. And thank you for all of you who are watching this video. I'm going to put in the description of the video the website of Global Retreat Center, so that maybe if you are planning to travel to England at some point, you can go there and pay a visit. It's a wonderful place. And subscribe to the channel and share this video to as many people as you can, so that more people can get benefit of all of this inspiration. So many, many thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.